We got hands up. Who's like Tashawn's first?
What's up, Max? Tashawn. I know you've had a eventful, past year or so, both on and off the field. But what's it like, having this day-to-day, signing this extension on your 2-year anniversary of your sobriety?
It's a blessing. You can't make it up, man. It's just, a lot of people have been asking, like, did you plan to do that? And I'm like, nah, like it just happened. It was the universe.
Raiders Nation, let's set the stage. The Las Vegas Raiders are coming off a tough couple of seasons, but don't sleep on this squad. We've got bona fide stars like Max Crosby and Brock Bowers lighting up the field, and with new leadership like GM John Spytek and a fresh coaching staff, the vibes are shifting. The Raiders are building something special, and contract extensions are a huge part of that plan. Today, we're diving into 3 players who could be cashing in big if they dominate in 2025. Who do you think deserves a fat new deal? Drop it in the comments. This offseason, the Raiders already locked in some heavy hitters. Max Crosby signed a monster 3-year, $106.5 million deal with $91.5 million guaranteed, making him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Geno Smith also got his bag as the new QB1, but there's still talent waiting for their shot at long-term security. The 2025 season is make or break for some of these guys. The question is, who's next in line to secure their future with the silver and black? We're talking about players who've been grinding, proving their worth, and becoming fan favorites. These extensions aren't just about money. They're about building a playoff contender. So let's get to it. First up, a wide receiver who's been quietly dominating and winning the hearts of Raiders fans everywhere. Who's ready to talk about a true WR1? Stick around because this guy's story is straight fire. All right, let's talk about Jacobe Meyers, the unsung hero of the Raiders passing game. This dude is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the NFL, and he's been a straight-up baller since joining the Raiders in 2023. Last season, Meyers hit a career high, racking up over 1,000 receiving yards for the first time. That's huge. What's even crazier, he did it with a QB carousel of Gardner Minshew, Aiden O'Connell, and Desmond Ridder. Imagine what he could do with Geno Smith slinging the ball in 2025. Meyers isn't just about stats. He's a culture setter in the locker room. The man works hard, makes clutch plays, and has hands like glue. Get this. Since 2000, he's the only receiver in the NFL with 95-plus targets in a season and a 0% drop rate. 0 drops, Raiders Nation. That's the kind of reliability we need. Who else is hyped about Meyers leading our young receiver room? The Raiders signed him to a 3-year, $33 million deal in 2023, but 2025 is the final year of that contract. If the front office doesn't lock him up long-term, some other team might snatch him up, and we can't let that happen. The fan base loves this guy, and he's earned every bit of that love. So what's next for Meyers? A big 2025 could mean a massive payday, and I'm all for it. But can he keep up that elite production with a new QB and a stacked receiving core? Let's talk about the next guy who's got a lot to prove this season. Next up, let's shine the spotlight on defensive end Malcolm Koonce. This guy was poised for a breakout in 2024 after a killer 2023 season where he racked up 8 sacks, 43 tackles, and 52 quarterback pressures. That's the kind of heat we need opposite Max Crosby. But a season-ending knee injury crushed those plans before he could even hit the field. Tough break, right? What do you think Koonce needs to do to bounce back in 2025? Koonce bet on himself this offseason, signing a 1-year prove-it deal with the Raiders. The new regime believes in his potential to be a game-changer, and I'm rooting for him to show out. A healthy Koonce could be the missing piece to make our defensive front unstoppable. Imagine him and Crosby coming off the edges. Quarterbacks won't know what hit him. If Koonce stays healthy and returns to his 2023 form, he's looking at a massive multi-year deal in 2026. But it's a high-stakes year. A repeat of his early career struggles could hurt his chances, and with the Raiders eyeing defensive ends in the 2026 draft, the pressure's on. Can Koonce silence the doubters and secure his bag? Raiders Nation, let me know in the comments if you think he's got what it takes. Up next, we've got a lineman who's been holding it down for years. You don't want to miss this. Let's talk about the anchor of our offensive line, Colton Miller. This guy's been a rock at left tackle for the Raiders, and he's only gotten better every year. Protecting the quarterback is everything in this league, and Miller's been doing it at an elite level. Despite some fan frustration with the O-line's overall performance, Miller's not the one to blame. He's been a consistent force for the silver and black. Who else thinks Miller's the unsung hero of this team? Miller's entering the final year of his contract in 2025 with no guaranteed money left on his $18.01 million average annual value deal. He held out briefly during OTAs this offseason, signaling he wants a new deal, but he still showed up to practice, saying, "I want to be a Raider for life." That's the kind of loyalty we love. But the Raiders are hesitating after his 2023 shoulder injury slowed him down last season. A new deal for Miller could cost $20 to $23 million per year, and with rookie Charles Grant waiting in the wings, the Raiders might want to see Miller return to his pre-injury form before committing. That makes 2025 a critical year for him to prove he's still a top-tier left tackle. Will Miller get the extension he deserves, or will the Raiders roll the dice with younger talent? Let's keep this conversation going. Drop your thoughts below. Next, we're diving into why these extensions matter for the Raiders' big picture. Stay tuned. Raiders Nation, let's zoom out for a second. Why are these contract extensions such a big deal? It's all about building a contender. The Raiders haven't made the playoffs since 2022, and with a new GM in John Spytek and a revamped roster, 2025 is a chance to change that narrative. Locking up players like Meyers, Koonce, and Miller isn't just about rewarding talent. It's about creating stability for a team on the rise. What's the one move you think the Raiders need to make to get back to the postseason? Back to Jacobe Meyers. Can this guy take it to the next level in 2025? The Raiders' receiving core is young and loaded, with guys like Trey Tucker, Jack Beck, and Brew McCoy pushing for targets. But Meyers is the undisputed leader of the group. His ability to get open, read coverages, and make plays in the clutch makes him the perfect veteran presence for this squad. Raiders Nation, who's your favorite receiver on this roster? Last season, Meyers proved he could be a #1 receiver, even with inconsistent QB play. Now, with Geno Smith under center and a dynamic tight end in Brock Bowers drawing coverage, Meyers could be in for an even bigger year. Some analysts are projecting he could hit 1,200 yards if he stays healthy. That's the kind of production that screams long-term contract. But here's the catch. Meyers is 28, and the Raiders have younger receivers like Beck, who caught 62 passes for 1,034 yards at TCU last year. If Meyers slips or the rookies outshine him, the front office might hesitate to pay up. The pressure's on for him to keep that zero-drop streak alive. What do you think? Will Meyers stay the top dog in the receiving core, or will a rookie steal the show? Let's talk about it. Next up, we're checking in on Malcolm Koonce's comeback story. You don't want to miss this. Malcolm Koonce's story is one of resilience, Raiders Nation. After a breakout 2023, that knee injury in 2024 was a gut punch. But Koonce is back, and he's got a chip on his shoulder. That one-year deal he signed this offseason, it's a chance to prove he's the long-term answer opposite Max Crosby on the defensive line. Who's got faith in Koonce to ball out in 2025? What's your prediction for Koonce's sack total in 2025? Drop it in the comments, and let's keep this energy going. Next, we're talking about why Colton Miller's extension is a must for the Raiders' future. The Raiders are at a crossroads with Miller. His current deal runs out after 2025, and a new contract could cost $20 to $23 million a year. That's a big investment, especially with rookie Charles Grant, a third-round pick, waiting in the wings. The front office might want to see Miller dominate in 2025 before committing, but fans are loud and clear. 60% of you voted Miller as the most deserving of a new deal in a recent poll. Miller's leadership and consistency make him a cornerstone of this team. Losing him to free agency would be a disaster, especially with a young QB and a rookie RB who need protection. But if Grant shows promise, the Raiders might play hardball. It's a risky move either way. What do you think? Should the Raiders pay Miller now or wait to see how he performs? Let's hear it. We're almost at the end, but first, let's talk about what these extensions mean for the Raiders' playoff push. Raiders Nation, it all comes down to this. Can these extensions turn the Las Vegas Raiders into a playoff team? Locking up Meyers, Koonce, and Miller would give this roster the stability it needs to compete in a tough AFC West. With Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs still running the division, every piece matters. What's the one player you think the Raiders can't afford to lose? The 2025 season is a fresh start. With Geno Smith at QB, Ashton jeanty in the backfield, and a revamped defense led by Crosby and Wilkins, the Raiders are one of the most improved teams in the NFL, according to some analysts. But keeping core players like Meyers and Miller ensures we're not just a flash in the pan. Koonce's potential to wreak havoc only adds to the excitement. If these guys ball out, the Raiders could be looking at a wild card spot, or better. But if they don't get extended, we risk losing them to free agency, and rebuilding gets a lot harder. The fan base is fired up, and the new regime knows it. The pressure's on to make the right calls. So, what's the vibe, Raiders Nation? Are we making the playoffs in 2025, or is it another year of rebuilding? Let's wrap this up with a big finish. Stick around for the call to action. All right, Raiders Nation. That's the scoop on the Las Vegas Raiders contract extension watch for 2025. Jacobe Meyers, Malcolm Koonce, and Colton Miller are ready to prove their worth every penny, and I'm hyped to see them ball out in the silver and black. This team is on the cusp of something special, and these extensions could be the key to a playoff run. Who's your pick for the biggest breakout star this season? Drop it in the comments, and let's keep the conversation going. I couldn't find any breaking news that contradicts this report, so we're rolling with the latest from SI and other sources. The Raiders are building, and these players are the heart of it. If anything new drops, I'll be back with an update, so make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. What do you think the Raiders should do? Lock these guys up now or wait for 2025 to play out? Your opinion matters, so hit those comments and let's talk football. If you're as pumped as I am about the Raiders' future, smash that like button and share this video with every Raiders fan you know. Raiders Nation, we're in this together. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's ride this 2025 season to glory. Until next time, keep it silver and black, and let's go Raiders.